Hello, Collective. Second message, second coming. And it's April 15th, 2025, 3:33 on the clock. That's 3 times 3 times 3. No, 33 times 3 is 99. So, degree. Let me read what in the Bible, verse 333. The Bible verses that include 333 are John, Lamentations, Proverbs, not pronouns, Proverbs, action words, Galatians, Jeremiah, also Matthew. Specifically, John 3:33 says, whoever receives his testimony sets his seal to this. Remember, seal on the forehead. That's the eye. That God is true. God is real. Israelites, not elites, are lights, but even the elites, God's children. Lamentations 3:3 says, for he does not willingly bring affliction or grief to anyone. No, God doesn't do that. We do that to ourselves. But we have a truth and a way to get to better days. So Proverbs 3:3 says, the Lord's curse is on the house of the wicked, but he blesses the dwelling of the righteous. Galatians 3:3 is a reference to a different verse in the same chapter, but the meaning is related to the verse in John. Jeremiah 33:3 says, call to me and I will answer you and tell you great and unexplainable things I do not know, that we do not know. God knows all. And he knows how many hairs we have on our head. So that's the best I can say to these things. Matthew 3:3. Behold, I say unto you that your heavenly Father knows that you have need of all these things. Wherefore, seek not the things of this world, but seek first to build up the kingdom of God and to establish his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. And then Psalms 33:3. Sing unto him a new song. Play skillfully with a loud noise. For the word of the Lord is right, and all his works are done in truth. He loveth righteousness and judgment. The earth is full of goodness of the Lord. Hallelujah. Thanks be to God. Isaiah 33, verse 3. 33:3. At the uproar of your army, the peoples flee. When you rise up, the nations scatter. For your plunder, O nations, is harvested as by young locusts. Like a swarm of locusts, people pounce on it. The Lord is exalted, for he dwells on high. He will fill Zion with his justice and righteousness. All praises to our Most High, as we say. But before I tap into this, I'm going to read Exodus. I'm going to pray to the ancestors, as we do, proper way to ask for these energies. You hold out your hands and you ask the ancestors, please, ancestors of the highest white light, come through. Help me speak calmly, clearly, and concisely to the collective crew in this Christ consciousness, the one that we all strive for. And all praises to our Most High, Ashe and Amen. Before I tap into this message and read, because we're in Passover, coming up onto 3 days when Christ was crucified, put in the tomb, and then rose. And we're ascending. And we can rise with Gaia, or we can stay in low vibes, and that's not good. We don't want to do that. And this is more for the people that take an oath and they're in the gray area, because I know that they destroyed my property and my phones, and I don't care about the material things. I care about what was in my 2 phones. And luckily I had uploaded the things that I needed. Not all. I'm going to be missing my pictures, and that's Amendment 5, that they did this. Why would they do this? Why would they destroy evidence? I don't know why they would do that. That's what they told me. So this will line up. This reading should line up with these And hopefully they come out of the gray and get to the light, because they take an oath. These are the ones that really have to abide by taking that oath. So before I read, I was watching a message of the Arcturians, and the message come through on YouTube. 5D ascension souls, 3D vessels, carbon-based, to the 4D is astral, and then the 5D is the light bodies. That takes time. That could take years. I don't know how. Only God knows that stuff. The Galactics might know, because they were keepers of the garden, as Dolores Cannon said. So I'm just trying to give people things that they can go look at, Dolores Cannon, she's on YouTube. To ascend and help Gaia and all life on it, we need the truth and the way. Road is narrow, but once the truth is announced, we have that last manifestation of the Antichrist, anti-love, and then we have to try to get that loving feeling back, and it can happen. It's gonna happen. We see that shooting in Salem. Those 3 jumped out of the car early in the morning and just blazed up the street. Brazen, huh? The streets have changed, and you think they lost the loving feeling? I mean, this is getting ridiculous. Then another one ran right through the metal detectors in the Woburn court and started spraying mace. Tell me those aren't demons. They went right into the courthouse. The guy was spraying mace. I seen that. But let's read Exodus. I'm going to read 14 and 15. But if you don't know the story of Moses, go watch on Netflix the docudrama. It's good. I watched it. It's a 3-part series of Moses. Or you can watch the Charlton Heston, the older one. But we're going to jump right into where Moses and the Israelites are already. Moses convinced the Pharaoh, because God told Moses what to do, and Moses kept going to him. And God was hitting the Pharaoh with all kinds of plagues and all kinds of issues. And finally Pharaoh was like, okay, you can go for 3 days to pray to your God, thinking the Israelites were going to come back. And when they didn't come back, Moses, this is where we're going with it. Then the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying, speak to the children of Israel, that they return and camp before Pi-Hahiroth, between Migdol and the sea, over against Baal, B-A-A-L, Zephron, Baal, B-A-A-L. That's the demon they worship. Barium and aluminum is also on the periodic table. So, about it shall ye camp by the sea. For Pharaoh will say of the children of Israel, they are tangled in the land. The wilderness has shut them in. Because Pharaoh, and I will harden Pharaoh's heart. This is God speaking to Moses. I will harden Pharaoh's heart, that he shall follow after you. So I will get me honor upon Pharaoh and upon all his hosts. God's going to get this honor, because that's God doing. He got the Egyptians, not the Egyptians. He got the Israelites out of bondage. So the Egyptians also shall know that I am the Lord, and they did so. Then it was told the king of Egypt that the people fled, and the heart of the Pharaoh and of his servants was turned against the people. And they said, why have we done this, and have let Israel go out of our service? The Pharaoh didn't like that he agreed to Moses's, which is really God, because Moses was saying, hey, we want to go pray to our God for 3 days, away from you. And finally Pharaoh gave in, because God was hitting him with plagues and all kinds of things. So, and he made ready his chariots and took his people with him. Pharaoh was given chase. And took 600 chosen chariots, and all the chariots of Egypt, and the captains over every one of them. For the Lord had hardened the heart of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, and that followed after his children of Israel. But the children of Israel went out with an high hand. Whose high hand? God's. And the Egyptians pursued after them, and all the horses and chariots of Pharaoh and his horsemen and his host overtook them camping by the sea. Besides Pi-Hahiroth, I don't even know how to say these names, before Baal Zephron. And when Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of Israel lift up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them. They were down by the sea, and they could see up on the ridge Pharaoh and all the army, the chariots coming after them, but they were still ways away. And the Lord did some more stuff. And they were sore afraid. Wherefore the children of Israel cried unto the Lord, and they said unto Moses, Hast thou brought us to die in the wilderness, because there was no graves in Egypt? Wherefore hast thou served us to carry us out of Egypt? Now they're grumbling that, oh no, now look what's going to happen. Did not we tell these things in Egypt, saying, Let us be in rest, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it has been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness. They were used to being in bondage, and they just wanted to stay in bondage. But then Moses said to the people, Fear ye not, stand still, and behold, the salvation of the Lord, which he will show to you this day. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen this day, ye shall never see them again. Moses had faith. Moses knew God was real. The Lord shall fight for you. Therefore, hold you your peace. That's 14:14 in Exodus. And I was told by a collective read today to keep reading Psalms 33 and Psalms 35. So I'm going to skip over it's Psalms, was it 30? No, it's 30. Yeah, 35. Plead thou my case, O Lord, with them that strive with me. Fight thou against them that fight against me. David's praying in the Psalms. He's praying to the Lord to fight for David. Fight for me, Lord. And that's what we do. Lay hand upon their shield and their buckler, and stand up for my help. Bring out also the spear, and stop their way against them that persecute me. Say unto my soul, I am thy salvation. Let them be confounded and put to shame that seek after my soul. Let them be turned back and brought to confusion that imagine mine hurt. Let them be the chaff before the wind, and let the angel of the Lord scatter them. Let their way be dark and slippery, and let the angel of the Lord persecute them. Now when we're in the dark, but then you come out and you start getting into the light. So that's what these people would have to do, because they're going to reap what they sow. The Lord shall fight for you, therefore hold you in your peace. And the Lord said unto Moses, Wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak unto the children of Israel that they go forward. And lift thou up thy rod, and stretch out thy hand upon the sea, and divide it. And let the children of Israel go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. That's God telling Moses, do what I tell you, and I will make the way for you. So, and I behold, I will harden the heart of the Egyptians, that they may follow them, and I will get me honor upon Pharaoh and upon all his hosts, upon his chariots and upon his horsemen. Then the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord, when I have gotten me honor upon Pharaoh, upon his chariots, and upon his horsemen. And the angel of God, which went before the hosts of Israel, removed and went behind them. Also the pillar of the cloud went from before them and stood behind them. They were slowing Pharaoh's army down so the Israelites could make it across. And came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel. It was both a cloud and a darkness, yet gave it light by night, so that all the night long the one came not at the other. They didn't come together to fight. And Moses stretched forth his hand upon the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to run back by a strong east wind all the night, and made the sea and dry land, for the waters were divided. Then the children of Israel went through the midst of the sea and upon dry ground, and the waters were a wall unto them on the right hand and on their left hand. And the Egyptians pursued and went after them to the midst of the sea, even all Pharaoh's horses and chariots. And his horsemen. Now in the morning watch, when the Lord looked unto the host of the Egyptians out of the fiery and cloudy pillar, he struck the host of the Egyptians with fear. For he took off their chariot wheels, and they drove with them much ado, so that the Egyptians every one said, I will flee from the face of Israel. for the Lord fighteth for them against the Egyptians. Then the Lord said to Moses, Stretch thine hand upon the sea, that the waters may return upon the Egyptians, upon their chariots, and upon their horsemen. Then Moses stretched forth his hand upon the sea, and the sea returned to the force early in the morning, and the Egyptians fled against it. But the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. So the waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen, even all the host of the Pharaoh that came unto the sea after them. There remained not one of them, but the children of Israel walked upon dry land through the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall unto them in their right hand and on their left hand. Thus the Lord saved Israel the same day out of the hand of the Egyptians, and Israel saw that the Egyptians dead upon the sea bank. And Israel saw the mighty power which the Lord showed upon the Egyptians. So the people feared the Lord and believed the Lord and his servant Moses. Let's see how long it lasted, though. Just kind of get... So then sang Moses, and this is now Exodus 15, 1 and through. Then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto the Lord, and said in this manner, I will sing unto the Lord, and for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and him that rode upon him hath he overthrown in the sea. The Lord is my strength and praise, and he is become my salvation. He is my God, and I will prepare him a tabernacle. He is my father's God, and I will exalt him. Kind of reminds me of Psalms 23. He is my strength and praise, and lead us to still waters and by green pastures. The Lord is a man of war. His name is Jehovah Jireh. There's a song by Maverick City. Jireh, you are enough, under any circumstance. So, Pharaoh's chariots and his host hath he cast unto the sea, has chosen captains also. His chosen captains also were drowned in the Red Sea. The depths have covered them. They sank to the bottom as a stone. Thy right hand, O Lord, is glorious in power. Thy right hand, O Lord, hath bruised the enemy. And in thy great glory thou hast overthrown them and rose against thee. Thou sentest forth thy wrath, which consumed them as the stubble. And by the blast of thy nostrils the waters were gathered, the flood stood still as an heap. The depths congealed together in the heart of the sea. The enemy said, I will pursue, I will overtake them, I will divide the spoil. My lust shall be satisfied upon them. I will draw my sword, mine hand shall destroy them. That's what the Pharaoh and his crew thought. Thou blewest with the wind, the sea covered them, they sank as lead in the mighty waters. Who is like unto thee, O Lord, among the gods? Who is like thee, so glorious in holiness, fearful in praises, doing wonders? Thou stretched out thy right hand, the earth swallowed them. Thou wilt by thy mercy carry this people, which thou deliverest. Thou wilt bring them in thy strength unto the holy habitation. The people shall hear and be afraid. Sorrow shall come upon the inhabitants of the Philistine. Then the dukes of Edom shall be amazed, and trembling shall come upon the great men of Moab. Moab. The military knows what Moab is. All the inhabitants of Canaan shall wax faint-hearted. Fear and dread shall fall upon them, because of the greatness of thine arm. They shall be still as a stone, till thy people pass, O Lord, till this people pass, which thou hast purchased. Thou shalt bring them in and plant them in the mountains of thine inheritance, which is in the place that thou hast prepared, O Lord, for to dwell in, even the sanctuary, O Lord, which thine hands shall establish. The Lord shall reign forever and ever. For Pharaoh's horses went with his chariots and his horsemen into the sea, and the Lord brought the waters of the sea upon them. But the children of Israel went on dry land in the midst of the sea. And Miriam, the prophetess, sister of Aaron, took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women came out after her with timbrels and dances. And Miriam answered the men, Sing ye unto the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider hath he overthrown in the sea. Then Moses brought Israel from the Red Sea, and they went out into the wilderness of Shur. And they went 3 days in the wilderness and found no waters. And when they came to Marah, they could not drink of the waters of Marah, for they were bitter. Therefore the name of the place was called Marah. Then the people murmured against Moses, saying, What shall we drink? And he cried unto the Lord, and the Lord showed him a tree, which when he had cast unto the waters were sweet, where he made them an ordinance and a law, and there he proved them. And said, If thou wilt diligently hearken, O Israel, unto the voice of the Lord thy God, and wilt do that which is right in his sight, and wilt give ear unto his commandments, and keep all his ordinances, then will I put none of these diseases upon thee, which I brought upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord that healeth thee. And they came to Elam, where were 12 fountains of water and 70 palm trees, and they camped there by the waters. So I'm going to end it at that. Yeah, the Lord heals through faith, through sound, through light, through grounding, through however he does it. The Lord does it in his special ways. And, taking the right, medicines. I don't want to talk about the medicines being bad, because we need, like, penicillin's been a lifesaver, antibiotics, but staying on medicines for long term isn't getting to the root cause of our problems. So that's the message, and we're just trying to share the truth and the way to get our lights on. So stay up and stay blessed, as we all are. I'm going to share a few more videos with this at the end of this message. I didn't narrate it, but there'll be videos, because they're off the back channels, and LT's and We Know. So stay up and stay blessed. We all are. Peace.
They see you have the help of the divine. This is where your confidence come in at. This is why you're so confident in knowing that you're receiving this. Okay? That's why the divine has to intervene and raid the fucking courthouse spiritually, because of all these motherfuckers been playing in your face this whole time. These corrupt law officials. That's why God has to step in. Divine judges presiding over this case. Clarify this spirit. Firm foundation. Yeah.
Obama made sure the bankers got their bonuses while he kicked 5.1 million families out of their homes. Not people, 5.1 million families. And then you find out that he got more money from Wall Street than John McCain did. And you find out that... really? Yes. And that there was an email from Wall Street, from Citigroup, to the Barack Obama campaign with a list of people they wanted in his cabinet. Every person on that list ended up in his cabinet. And the reason I know that, because that got released by WikiLeaks, and that's why they've been trying to kill Julian Assange ever since. And so they all are working. He wasn't a departure from George W. Bush, Barack Obama, just his skin color. He took us from 2 wars to 7. He gave us a right-wing healthcare plan, which came out of the Heritage Foundation, which is the same people I gave you Project 2025. And, he gave us Mitt Romney's healthcare plan. So, and he deported all those. He dropped more bombs than George Bush, and nobody noticed. And that's why they wanted to have Kamala Harris. That was their first choice. The donor class was Kamala Harris. They thought we'd have a female Barack Obama, and that's a good face for imperialism, right? Because we have a black woman bombing and stealing resources and doing neoliberal and neocon policies. That's perfect. And that you couldn't get a vote. So then they had to go to their second most reliable person, which was Joe Biden. That's exactly how it worked. I don't know if you remember, but they coronated her on Martha's Vineyard. She's going to be our candidate. And they thought they had the black Barack Obama, but she couldn't get a vote. She has no political talent, right? And so then they forced her on Joe Biden as the vice president. And then, of course, they did a coup, just like Jim Gaffigan said at the L. Smith dinner. They had the debates way earlier than they normally would, so they would give them enough time to install Kamala Harris, and that's exactly what happened. So I don't know how I got off on this tangent, but yes, we know that after Occupy Wall Street and the Tea Party, then the major newspapers, the mentions of racism and white supremacy, people have studied this. I'm not making this up. I'm just quoting studies. It went through the roof. And why is that? That's because, as Chomsky taught us, the newspapers aren't there to inform you. They're to manufacture consent. And one of the great ways to manufacture consent for the establishment is to divide and conquer. It's been there ever since World War II. It's been divide and conquer. And that's exactly what they did. So they got everybody that's what identity politics is. And it's got everybody till you identify with your skin color. It's the opposite of Martin Luther King. It's the opposite of judge someone by the content of their character. And so now everybody's identified with their gender or their sexual preference or their skin color or their ethnicity. And they got us all siloed off and split up.
Let's see some class. Look at this. So I flip this to L2. And then I bring this to 1, and fire. Now look at that. Fire. Fire. Okay, very perfect.
Love to see, and it's happening right now, and we love it. And so going towards the Q stuff, just in case you're wondering, kind of strange that Mayor Adams announces the Q teams to improve quality of life in New York City. Joe Rambo found this. Not only the Q teams, but Q stat.
Illegal vending, substance use, abandoned vehicles, illegal mopeds, and reckless driving and more have persisted for far too long. And we want to ensure that we move our city continue to move our city in the right direction. Our Q teams will be leading the line, working hand in hand with community to keep our neighborhoods safe and address these quality of life concerns. As part of this new division, we are launching QStat, a program modeled after ComStat. New York City revolutionized under Bill Bratton, the former commissioner, the role of ComStat more than 30 years ago. Illegal vending.
Interesting, right? Q-Stat. Unbelievable how they're showing up in the simulation that we're living in. Is kind of weird. They're not hiding the simulation anymore. They're naming departments after the source code Q teams. ComStat. It's not governance. It's programming. It says awaken the world, the power within. The matrix is glitching in plain sight. Oh, so good.
Disturbing. This pair of arrests were made at our southern border just days ago. Border Patrol believes that these two women, these two American citizens, both of them, tried to smuggle two little girls across the border. They were nabbed at a checkpoint in Westmoreland, California. The 10 and 12-year-old girls from Mexico, asleep in the back seat. But the agents quickly realized that these were not their children. These were not their relatives. Nothing matched on the names or IDs as they scanned for information on these individuals. These women face smuggling charges, and it happened at the El Centro sector of the border. Gregory Bovino is the sector's chief patrol agent, and he says that it is almost unbearable to think what heinous crime awaited these little girls. Chief, thank you very much for being here. This is a story that we have covered a lot as we have seen these different examples. Is it your contention that these women are working, they're American citizens working for Mexican cartels and part of a smuggling operation? Is that the charge?
Yes, Martha, and good afternoon, and thank you for having me. Undoubtedly, these two United States citizens are working for the cartels. The cartels control just about everything on the south side of that border. So undoubtedly they were working for cartels. And I think it's important to realize that a cartel or a human smuggler will stop at nothing to make a profit, including smuggling unaccompanied juveniles north for unknown reasons.
Again, and you'll see this. Thousands of American Muslim converts praying in Philadelphia. Islam is the fastest growing religion in America, according to most sources. It's playing out throughout this earth, and it's just a warning not to be fearful, but it's also an opportunity to share the gospel while they're in the United States with them if you have an opportunity. Just something to pray about there. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just saying there's opportunities without looking at negative. They're here in our country, so there you go. Opportunities are readily available. President Trump put this out also. He said, how could we be expected to go to South Africa for the very important G20 meeting when land confiscation and genocide is the primary topic of conversation? They are taking the land of white farmers and then killing them and their families. The media refuses to report on this. The United States has held back all contributions to South Africa. Is this where we want to be for the G20? I don't think so.
There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. Yes. South African occupy land. That's who we are. Honorable member, want to do? Can withdraw my membership from this useless parliament? Honorable. Yes, honorable member.
Must never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of a revolutionary act. Shoot to kill. Yamaza. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. Brr, pa, pa, brr, pa, pa. To kill. Yamaza. Kill the poor, the farmer.
And so they're dancing. It sounds like they're talking about shoot to kill. Let me see.
I feel a terrible pain because you have touched a white man. Not because Mashaba and Soli will not be touched. They will be touched. Don't worry. But we are starting with this whiteness. We are cutting the throat of whiteness. Shoot to kill. Yamaza.
Shoot to kill. And of course, if you guys have been following a lot of the stuff that went on in South Africa, many hundreds of thousands we have to pray for. And I think President Trump, we announced it a couple of weeks ago, he did, that if they want to come for safety to keep from getting shot. And so I want to show you this too as I'm scrolling through. Maybe we'll understand this part.
Babies.
We are going to hit them, he says, and you are going to run, shoot the Boer, the white farmer. We are going to hit them. Are you going to run? And they're dancing and celebrating. We're going to shoot them with the machine gun. They are going to run. We're going to shoot them. So they're singing about killing the white farmer in South Africa. That breaks my heart. All those donations flowing into them, they always get together and accuse their enemy of all the things that they're up to. And I tell you what, that's playing out day after day. Doge is catching many of these. Doge finds just 3 blue states are responsible for over half the U.S. unemployment fraud. Them states to blame for most of the nearly $400 million in unemployment fraud over the last 4 years.
So to the state,
3 blue states. After finding $382 million in fraudulent unemployment payments since 2020, The Department of Government Efficiency identified California, New York, and Massachusetts as the primary culprits. The 3 Democrat-led states accounted for $305 million in improper claim payments, Doge said Thursday. So the group added that California also accounted for 68% of the benefits that were dispensed under former President Joe Biden to parolees identified by federal authorities as being on the government's terrorist watch list or who had criminal records. 6 months before we get there, but it's absolutely amazing to have this foundation that's going to be put into place. Also, Stephen Miller's been excited. Love listening to him.
All I want to say is that America is in the best position under President Trump to dominate the economic future because of how we are unleashing deregulation, exploring and opening American energy, including trillions of dollars in clean coal, and how we are on the verge of passing a tax bill that will provide economic certainty and make America into the most desirable place on planet Earth to shore jobs, invest, expand, hire, and grow. This is an economic strategy. Deal with China's abuses, deregulate, explode American energy production, create the most favorable tax system for American development on the face of the earth. That is the recipe for radical American success, Maria.
You go, Stephen Miller. Absolutely amazing. President Trump even talked about how much money we're making.
As you know, without a lot of money being added, which is a lot of money that we could add, the country is making approximately $2 billion a day. And when you think of it, we've never done that before, never come close to it. And the number is probably $3.5 billion a day. And that makes us a very strong country.
Very strong country. You know, not even the money side. Look at the agenda for our president. The reminder, the war on the cartels, closing the border, ending veteran homelessness, revolutionizing higher education, 10 principles for great schools, lower cost of energy and electricity, energy independence, returning production of essential medicines back to the USA, death penalty for human traffickers, rescuing America's auto industry. Hopefully, we'll start seeing our cars sent over to other countries. Finally,
the president took strong action. First, by raising tariffs on China to 145% and dropping tariffs to 10% for most countries after bringing more than 75 nations to the negotiating table. The president hosted the LA Dodgers and racing champions here at the White House, and he hosted a successful bilateral meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. We also had incredible economic news. Inflation declined massively in March. Consumer prices dropped for the first time in 3 years. Energy prices have decreased 2.4%. Gas prices decreased 6.3%, and real average hourly earnings are growing by 1.4%. AMG Minerals, Novinix, Novartis Pharmaceuticals, Guardian Bikes, and many other companies announced billions of dollars in investments in the United States as a result of the president's economic and America First trade policies. The White House Council of Economic Advisors released a study showing President Trump's actions will save nearly $11,000 per family of 4 over the coming years. And the president signed an executive order bolstering U.S. coal production following decades of industry decline. The administration also won 4 major Supreme Court cases, repealing rulings from activist federal judges. And the Department of Homeland Security relaunched the Victims of Immigration Crime Engagement Office to assist Americans who have been harmed by illegal immigrant crime. That's just a very small glimpse into all of the incredible work our administration is doing to make America great again. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you for next week's MAGA Minute.
oh, it's so good to have these updates from the White House with a smile. Come forward showing us the Democrats, how they're behaving and how they react to these things. Seems like they got together with their legacy media and all the politicians on the left, and they come up with their new word, right? They tell them, we've got one that we wanted to use to, for the little psyops that they play out in their world. Check this out.
We begin this hour with the chaos.
The average American sees chaos. The American people see chaos.
It's total chaos. You brought chaos.
It's just complete chaos.
Unleashed an economic chaos.
They unleash chaos.
They are creating chaos.
This chaos, there's too much chaos.
Total chaos.
That amidst the chaos,
We're going to see chaos.
After seeing all the chaos,
The chaos is unleashed on America.
Continue to see the chaos.
economic chaos.
A lot more chaos.
Trump's chaos. This is chaos. With such chaos.
The chaos, because of this chaos. Chaos.
All of this chaos. Uncertainty and chaos.
Given all that chaos,
When it's chaos.
All the chaos. Chaos and confusion grow.
It's more chaos, dysfunction.
the chaos is the purpose. The chaos is the goal.
It's chaos.
The reason why Mr. T won. They were also trying to rig the election, but they failed, and now they are running scared. Now they are running scared. But let's just be real, guys. Sometimes everything has to happen according to divine timing, right? We have to admit that the big guy, right? God is always under God's time. Okay, so, but it's never too late. It's never too late. We've already won the war. God is in control. Let's just see this, whatever you want to call this last script of the movie play out, which is going to be really, really good. Today is April the 14th, 2025, and we are steadily on a positive timeline trajectory, thanks to the collaborative efforts of the forces of light operating from every level of reality, from the earth plane, of course, and all the way up to the highest planes that science would call, invincible matter. How is everyone doing out there? I am in Vegas, guys. I've been here for the last couple of days. I was here. I'm here actually because I just did a huge interview with Sean Kelly, the Digital Social Hour. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that podcast, but it's like in the top 23 globally. So it is a big podcast, and I had an opportunity to actually be invited once again to come back here for a second interview. If you guys want to follow Sean, he is under Sean Michael Kelly on Instagram. Check out some of his content. It's pretty cool. So give out a shout out to Sean. If you happen to watch this, big shout out to you, brother. And again, thank you so much for inviting me back. Apparently, overall, the 2020 thing was a coup against every American person, because that was the only reason. That was the reason why everything was halted, okay? The DOD is now running internal audits. Oversight teams are actually being activated because the system is cracking. They're going into every file, every document, everything that these guys thought that they were going to be concealing from the general public. It's good. Thank God for Doge. Thank God for Doge. So apparently, nobody knows where Brandon is right now. It seems like Brandon is off sniffing little girls and eating his ice cream somewhere in the world. And apparently he's been gone, but luckily the international military White Hats technology, using their advanced Starlink and Space Force systems, are actually locating where Mr. Brandon is. Rumors say that he's been under medical lockdown. That's what they want us to believe. But apparently, knowing that Doge was going to discover these documents, it turns out that, Brandon is actually trying to hide. But yeah, he's not going to be able to hide. This entire regime, guys, that was actually being run by the people above him is collapsing, okay? And that includes, Mr. Barack, who is the grandchild of Adolf Hitler, Barack. The American people are about to see what was hidden, okay? And it is time. Nothing is going to stop what is going to be revealed this year. 2025 is the year of disclosure, okay? We're definitely going to see something roll out really soon now. The documents are there, very tangible. So brace yourself, guys, because the truth